Upon entering the APAC, a new world opens up to the prisoner deprived of liberty. Early in the morning, in several cities throughout Brazil and other countries, thousands of men and women begin their day by following a routine of dedication, discipline, and hope. Living in the APAC is, above all, establishing a commitment to oneself. There is no point in serving a sentence in the APAC if you do not make a pact, because life is not easy. Just because a person has now gone through the APAC does not mean that everything will be a bed of roses, a magic wand. No, if the method is not faithfully applied, there is no recovery. If you don't have discipline, you won't recover. This story began in São José dos Campos, where a group of Christian volunteers from the prison ministry provided moral and spiritual support to prisoners living in dire conditions in the city's prison. Led by journalist and lawyer Mario Ottoboni, in 1972, they founded the Association for the Protection and Assistance of Convicts, the APAC. Years later, the good seeds of São José dos Campos germinated in Itaúna, Minas Gerais, where APAC was given the task by the judiciary to autonomously manage an entire prison. At APAC, there are no police officers, criminal factions, or weapons, and all the keys to the units are in the hands of the recuperandos, the name by which the convicts are called. From the day I arrived at APAC, it was completely different from the reception I received in the regular system. Here, I had an identification badge. I got my identity back, which my father gave me when I was born, which my family gave me. APAC even gave me a college scholarship.
After only a short time here, you can already feel a change. You have a hard heart, but your heart softens because you are welcomed with so much affection, and you can't get angry.
The APAC method is rigorously applied to the daily lives of those recovering in accordance with criminal enforcement laws. The recuperando needs to be convinced that he has to follow rules, not because they are being imposed by the force of a prison guard, bars, handcuffs, coercion, but because he has to follow this path of life, valuing his family, valuing the recognition of his own mistakes, valuing work, study, and spirituality. APACs are not created by decree or by the will of this or that person. The effort and commitment of local communities are essential not only for the implementation and operation of the APAC, but also to guarantee the full application of the methodology.
From the moment the community understands that the APACs exist for the sole purpose of protecting it, I believe that the person who arrives here, who knows our day-to-day life, is here with a different vision and is willing to contribute to making this recovery really happen.
Here you learn to live as a community. Everyone contributes to cleaning, organization, discipline, internal work, and even security. Each cell has its representative, and each regime its council of sincerity and solidarity, formed explosively by recuperandos.
Here we do as much as possible, and only when it's extreme do we pick it up and pass it on to the security or administrative officers, so that the appropriate measures can be taken.
As an instrument of rehabilitation and professionalization, work follows a gradual scale according to the regime or stage of the sentence. Initially, labor therapy stimulates reflection, creativity, and the recovery of self-esteem. The qualification then provides the basis for a more specific profession or activity. And finally, daily paid work, inside or outside the center, promotes reintegration into social life.
Work and professionalism make you a good husband, a good father, a good son. I see that work also symbolizes a part in which you are being inserted. You are inserted into society. Work gives us hope.
Spirituality offers the opportunity for self-knowledge and reconstruction of life through an experience with the transcendent, without the imposition of doctrines or creeds. Thank God, here at APAC, we have prayers every day in the morning, during lunch, during dinner, so spirituality is very important in my life. Since 2015, recovering inmates have voluntarily participated in the evangelization program called the Prisoner's Journey. Because this has to do with their lives. Everything we talk about here impacts their lives, their pre-entry history. This is inevitable. So this really brings about a very deep reflection. APAC guarantees needy and deserving convicts legal assistance in the context of criminal proceedings. This support helps to promote a peaceful and calm environment. In APAC, this legal assistance is in fact effective. There is no state of super-rotation, quite the opposite. The rule, the methodology, is that there is one person per bed, so to speak. So there is a complete condition of close monitoring of the cars. Without the good physical and mental health of the recovering person, none of this would be possible. Therefore, the patient has access to medical, dental, pharmaceutical, and psychological care in their own facilities, in addition to specialized professionals, hired or volunteers. Practicing sports is also essential within the proposal for comprehensive health. Chemical dependency is one of the greatest challenges. To address this issue, FBAC developed the Paths of Care program. Human appreciation is the basis of the APAC method, and this is achieved through small gestures. Calling people by name, eating with cutlery, not wearing prison uniforms, and having individual beds and lockers. Everything contributes to improving self-esteem. So-called reality therapies help the recovering person to realize the harm they have caused to society and to take responsibility for their actions. Education here is taken seriously and is mandatory. Recovering inmates have full access to school, literacy, and postgraduate studies in various areas. All this knowledge that I acquired here at APAC gave me better hope, a direction.
To have an honest income for my life. When they find at school the opportunity to change their lives, the opportunity for new horizons, a better course, opportunities that they may not have had in life outside, they value school a lot.
So, for me in particular, I think that one of the main factors that will make the individual re-socialize, make him want to turn the key and change his thinking, is education.
Family bonds are one of the fundamental factors in social and human reintegration. If the family abandons you, I don't think you can recover. That's why I come every Sunday. I don't miss it. I have a lot of hope. I talk to her because she's the one who will take care of me in the future. Today I'm the one who takes care of her, but in the future I need her. In fact, at APAC, the eighth element is the family. So I think it's vital and important for you to know that you have someone on your side. There's someone willing to walk with you, to fight with you without looking back. I made mistakes, he made mistakes, but he is with me, giving me strength, giving me courage. It is through him that I am recovering what I lost.
APAC encourages reconciliation and coexistence through family and conjugal visits, weekly telephone calls, correspondence, and celebrations on festive dates.
The family gives me a lot of security, and it's good that I'm here, because this is a very good environment for them to come here. The family does help us to improve, to have a better life too. Here, everything changes. Here, I learned a lot.
The volunteer is the soul of APAC. To qualify, he takes training courses on the method. Nothing replaces the work of someone who comes out of free, constant, and unconditional love. Anyone who knows APAC ends up falling in love with the service provided here. In the community, we often see people who were once ex-offenders recovering, sometimes working in commerce, bakeries, supermarkets, and it is gratifying to see that we were part of this recovery, to see people who were once involved in crime and are now recovered, working, integrating themselves back into society. There is no overcrowding here, and the facilities have properly separated spaces in accordance with the regimes established in the federal penal enforcement law. The so-called social reintegration centers can be adapted or specially built based on a standard architectural project provided by FBAC. There is no recovery without discipline. Each step taken by the recovering person is duly recorded. Absences, non-commitments, and also good actions, positive attitudes, and praise. There is a disciplinary board within APAC so that we can make decisions together. I always try to put myself in the place of the person in recovery, and I always try to act in the best possible way, with a lot of wisdom. And when you do something with love and dedication, I am convinced that success is inevitable. Recording performance makes it easier to assess merit. It also helps the judiciary in assessing the legal benefits to which the person in recovery is entitled. We do have a qualified criminal execution system that meets all these rights, and which, therefore, also collects the obligations of the recovering person. On the journey of liberation, the participant is inspired by values of fraternity and solidarity in order to discover himself, review the film of his own life, and adopt a new philosophy. Growth and expansion of APACs resulted in the creation of the Brazilian Fraternity for Assistance to the Convicted (FBAC) in 1995. The entity's mission is to bring together, guide, and supervise APACs in Brazil, in addition to advising on the implementation of new units abroad. Next to the FBAC headquarters in Itaúna, the International Center for Studies of the APAC Method, CIMA, provides training for employees, volunteers, recovering patients, and authorities. In addition, it offers a structure for studies, research, exchanges, and knowledge production. Also part of the complex is the memorial dedicated to the life and work of founder Mario Toboni. The APAC method is a viable alternative that we are presenting to the states of Brazil and also to other countries, especially in view of the good results, the recidivism rate of 13.6%, and the per capita cost, which is 1/3 when compared to the common system, are noteworthy. The APAC method is increasingly gaining support. Institutions, such as the Court of Justice, state government, attorney's office, and other partners are joining this project, and the method is increasingly growing, strengthening, and multiplying. We start from the premise that no one is irredeemable. What exists is inadequate treatment. APAC is not a choice of the state, it is a choice of the people, of society. The conversation and dialogue with the established powers have evolved, and APAC has been recognized as a practice that has, in fact, led to a change in the people who leave the prison system. Promoting reconciliation is one of APAC's missions. On one hand, there is the example of this mother who lost her son, killed by the group of which he was a part of, recovering. Forgiveness was able to overcome the pain, and free both of them from the prison of guilt and suffering. On the other hand, there is the conquest of the recovering inmate. After serving his long sentence in the APSE, he found freedom again. From now on, moving forward without returning to the cycle of crime will be the great challenge. The hope is to be close to my family now, who are everything to me, and to continue my life normally, through work, through responsibility, through dignity, and through respect.